Yeah, when you are. Thank you, ladies
This
and
is the last
gentlemen.
32 of the International Championship from
Mark Selby.
Daqing in China. Still best of 11, first to 6. Mark Selby, the world champion, world number 1, to get us underway. Big day for John Astley, world number 76 from Gateshead in the northeast of England. Got back on the circuit through the Q School after the World Championship. He's been a quarter-finalist in Riga already this season. He's doing well, he's had some good results, but this is, of course, well, the biggest test you can face, really. The player at the top of the rankings, the world champion. We shall see how he gets on in the company of Joe Johnson.
Yes, good morning, David. Good morning, everybody. He is on the up. John Astley. Be interesting to see how he attacks the game. I think most of the new players do tend to attack, and what a good shot that was, the opening shot of the match. Good kiss as well. Always nice to knock that first red in like this. Tough red, wasn't a bad break off, just left that one red sticking out.
Three 0 to Selby on the head-to-head. They played quite recently,
5.
European Masters preliminary round. Selby won 4-1. John Astley beat Peter Lyons in the last round of the Q School, second event, to get his tour card back, having spent a year as an amateur.
John Astley 5.
Couldn't have got any closer, but those have to go in, especially when you play for the blue. And he played up for one of the baulk colours, may not have left this red to the left corner.
One.
So Mark Selby in with a chance.
Yes, he was among the top players who lost early at the English Open. He lost to Liam Highfield
8.
in the second round, but he'd played a lot of snooker to that point. He'd been runner-up in Shanghai, semi-finalist in Bucharest.
9.
Maybe could have just done with a
Put
few
your
more
thumbs
days
up,
off.
please. Thank
He
you.
has had a week in between tournaments.
Mark
It was
Selby,
always going
9.
towards that near knuckle. So both players had chances. First one to settle. Who's it going to be? Well, if he just drops it in, he'd have a nice angle on the black to bust into the reds.
One.
Sounded heavy. The cue ball cleaned. Sometimes when you get the kick, it alters the trajectory of the red. Fortunately the red went in the pocket, but he's got an angle here to go into the reds if he wants to. Now that's unfortunate.
8.
You've no idea how they're going to bust, and unfortunately for John, they didn't bust well.
John Astley, 8.
The whole of this round is played today, so there's 8 tables in operation in both sessions, which means that quite a few of the star names we won't see on the TV screens, like Judd Trump, John Higgins, Stuart Bingham, all on the non-TV tables.
This looks a good line. Excellent safety. Not quite the snooker, I don't think.
Yeah, he's from a very strong area for cue sports, John Astley, the northeast of England. Particularly billiards, actually. It's the World Billiards Championship at the moment, which is being played in Leeds. They've produced a lot of top players from that area, northeast.
Good speed. He could see the 2 reds, but they were dangerous to play onto. There was no danger with this. Oh, that's a little pacey. That's coming back down again. I have caught that thinner than he wanted. It's given Selby a chance here. Yeah, good pot. Not easy, those type of shots, but he's got a good chance now.
He's been world number 1 since February 2015, and he's around about 190,000 ahead of Stuart Bingham at the moment, so
7.
it's going to be very hard to catch over the next few months.
And especially if he keeps winning.
Absolutely.
8.
Of course, money comes off as well as goes on. It's a 2-year rolling system, so he'll have money coming off, but he very rarely goes out early in tournaments. So, as I say, he's going to be there for a while, I think. He did go out early in one tournament early this season when I tipped him in the Eurosport Prediction League. That's the one he did go out of early.
I think he'll be having a word with you, David.
$14.
Well, that's not finished up too badly, going into the pack of reds there. Just touching them open, finishing on this red to the right corner. It could have been worse.
$15. Put your phone away.
And that's worked out very nicely. Chose to go into them rather than play for that loose red.
22.
Couldn't have struck them any better. Couldn't have finished any better anyway.
23.
We saw him just laughing and joking with someone before he was introduced, but then the minute he walked out, it was stony face time. Right on with business.
$30.
Could be a very lucrative little trip because, of course, there's a new event next week, the China Championship. First prize here is 125,000. First prize there is 200.
Yes, it really pays to be informed the next couple of weeks, doesn't it?
37.
Yeah, that event is an invitation event just for 16 players, but obviously Selby will be among them.
38.
And it will be live on Eurosport. A week today it starts, actually.
Second biggest prize in snooker. £200,000 for the winner.
$45.
So Selby 41 in front with these 3 open reds. Should be enough to win the opening frame.
$46.
Yes, it was a poor safety from John Astley. It was a good opening pot from Mark Selby. And since that moment, he's been so positive, going into the pack of reds when he needed to.
52. $53.
So just this blue needed. And might leave an angle here on the red to bring the other reds out. No, a little straight.
58.
Yes, it was a poor safety, I'm going to say, from John.
59.
Can't afford to hand chances to top players like Mark Selby. A little unfortunate.
66.
Got the cannon to the red, trying to develop them.
Well, this red's in.
67.
What a
Some
shot. And a little unfortunate with the kiss, otherwise that
Green
would
ball.
certainly been a century. Still might, but this is a lot tougher. Oh, that's terrific. What a start from Mark Selby.
70. 71.
Yes, you can't expect to play well in every tournament. There are so many of them. He had a dip in Manchester, and credit to Liam Highfield for beating him. But just signs here that Mark Selby's queuing nicely. He toughed it through the first round against Paul Davison, who played well yesterday.
76.
More comfortable against Alfie Burden, 6-2, as opposed to 6-4 in the first round.
78.
And this is a great start. It looks like it's going to be a century in the opening frame.
$81. $85. 90.
So this black for his 12th century of this season. Great way to start the day for Mark Selby.
103.
Oh, it's a lovely clearance of 103
Mark Selby.
after a couple of chances on either side early on. Selby really stepped up there. Lovely break. He leads 1-0. It's first to 6 to reach the last 16 of this international championship. John Astley did have a couple of early chances, but in the end Mark Selby made 103 clearance to win the opening frame. First to 6. We'll reach the last 16 here in Jiaqing. This is actually the 8th ranking event of the season, and there's still 3 to come before Christmas. Oh, terrific pot.
Well, what can you do against that? That's a terrific pot. There's a good break off. But nothing you can do about players knocking in balls like that. That was a tough shot. And made tougher by the cue ball being close to the cushion. But he's back in again. And it's going to be down to Mark Selby.
4.
What happens in this frame at the moment?
Five. Twelve. 13.
A little straighter than he really wanted. Maybe able to force the black in.
Twenty. One.
Oh, a little harder. That would have been a disaster, but this is still a tough black if he decides to take it on. Didn't quite get on the red as he wanted. A little thick.
Mark Selby. 21.
So John Astley comes to the table with not an easy red, but if it goes in, he's got the black hanging over the pocket. Good pot.
1.
I think he's going to have to take the black there. And he finished nicely on the blue. He may have taken the blue, open the reds up. But just because the black's over the pocket doesn't mean the next red's going to be easy. He could try and go into them. And just in no man's land. Not sure if he tried to go into them
8.
or play for the loose reds. But he's in no man's land. Possible pot to the left corner. Easy safety. But he wants to keep the break going if he can. Good recovery,
9.
although played it with some safety in mind. So just a little roll up behind the green, I would think.
Green ball. John Astley, none.
Well, a little tricky coming off the right side cushion with that red in the middle of the table. But a lot more difficult coming off the left side cushion. That's a lot more trickier playing it that way, and he's left a red to the right middle.
Yep.
So back it goes. Didn't fancy the red to the middle, these middle pockets are very tight. I thought if he's going to play that shot he just played, then I thought it might be better coming off the left side.
Yep, John.
But the same shot. He could play that the other side of the table. Now, different shot this time. I'm happy with that.
Because he's come to the Q school, he has a 2-year card, so he doesn't have to worry about his world ranking as such. Obviously, he's looking to get as high as he can on the list, like everyone else, but he's not looking over his shoulder about top 64 at the end of the season, so he doesn't drop off. He's got that security in the first year anyway.
Well, again, that's a poor safety clipping off the reds. That's one of the easiest safety shots to play, and in the last frame he made a mistake, hitting it too hard, clipping off the reds. Made another one there. That'll be costly.
Well, they're the vital statistics in terms of this pot. Oh, struck it so cleanly.
One.
Yeah, you'd expect him, half expect him to pot those kind of shots, although they are very difficult, but with no pressure on it. It wasn't leaving anything, it was on the pink or the blue if it went in. But it was the poor safety. He was just running off the reds, John Astley. And he should have that cue ball very close to the cushion from such an easy shot. And he'll be annoyed with himself.
Seven.
Decided to go up for one of the ball colours to go into the reds. Just because the green's not quite on its spot, it's a different shot this. Well, that's not too bad. The red goes to the middle.
10. Eleven. Sixteen.
And by potting that red, that releases another one to the left corner. Although just short of pace on the blue. just didn't get close enough to the yellow to play the shot, to get the shot he
22.
wanted. Played for the red into the left corner. Lots of left-hand side on the cue ball. But not enough, so looks like just a safety. He was looking at the possible plant, but that's surely too risky.
Thank you. Mark Selby, 22.
And that looks pretty good.
So Mark Selby leads by 30 in this second frame. If you're just joining us, he had 103 in the first.
Be attempting the two cushion escape.
Foul. And a miss. Mark Selby, 3. Yeah.
Got to be careful of the free ball here. If he plays this a little harder, he may leave a free ball. He could come off the two cushions and just land up to the red above the black.
Mark.
Can't see much danger with that shot. Caught them too thick, and that's a disaster. That's one of the danger of playing the two cushion escape. If you catch them thick, it could be end of frame.
Yeah, he's overcompensated there, and I'm sure he's expecting this to be 2-0 now.
One. Six. Seven.
Pink to lead by 47, so one more red needed. And he's played a good frame here, Selby. He's controlled proceedings well.
13.
He's at that stage of his career where he's at the top, the very top, and just wants to keep on adding titles. And this would be a huge one to win. This is
14.
one of the most prestigious events in the game now in terms of the prize money. He's already won the Paul Hunter Classic this season. So his tally stands at 8 ranking titles, including, of course, the World Championship twice, 7 minor ranking titles, the Masters 3 times. It's a lot of trophies, and there'll be a lot more to come, I think.
21.
Yeah, just trying to develop the red. He wants them all.
Yeah, it's a way of rubbing it in, isn't it? You know, some players you do see them, they'll just sort of bash the balls about a bit, but not Mark Selby. He's clinical, like Stephen Hendry was.
28.
He understands the psychology of the game.
30. $32. 35. $39.
So Mark Selby, good value certainly for his 2-0 lead. 2 frames he's dominated.
44.
The danger is with any top player is that because he's into his groove so early, he can just run away with the match. Seen that happen plenty of times. Scenic route to get on the black.
50.
He's playing well. He's cueing really nicely early on here.
Mark
50
Selby,
it is.
50 and the frame.
And Mark Selby in control early on here against John Astley, who certainly needs to work on his safety game to just keep this man out, because it's Selby who's leading by 2 frames to 0. So Mark Selby in early control, 2-0. He leads John Astley. This is frame 3. Best of 11 to reach the last 16. The winner plays either Liang Wenbo or Li Hang. Still 0-0 in the Robertson-Hamilton match on table 2. Lengthy opening frame there.
Yes, and this time he hasn't left that long red to the left corner, which John knocked in the last time round. Caught it too thick, and that's another poor safety. Is he going to get away with it? Well, he hasn't left the easy one. And as David said, he's got to tighten up on the safety. Oh, that's a great shot.
1.
That is a great shot. Took his time over it, decided to go for it, played it with confidence, and also played for a baulk colour rather than playing the cue ball to the baulk cushion. And the psychology of the game is to try and punish the poor safety. That's why he went for the shot. He wants to punish his opponent, playing loose safety.
3.
Yeah, as I say, he understands the psychology. He's a lovely lad, Mark, but he's hard as nails when he gets out there. You've got to be. Cutthroat sport like this.
4.
Couldn't get the right side of the blue. Didn't want to risk playing down for the black, so left himself a nice angle to come in and out of baulk. Would have liked to have been straighter on this red. Played it with a lot of right hand side on the cue ball to bring it round onto the black, and that was a tough shot, but he's got his confidence early.
Yes, he can sometimes, I think, lose his rhythm if he goes a bit defensive, and we see matches that get a bit dragged out, but when he's playing like this, he's great to watch,
18.
unless you're playing him.
Now, choices here whether to go into them or play for that loose red. Chose to go into them. Nearly didn't work out.
23.
Nearly went in the pocket.
$24. $29. $30.
Nice angle on the yellow to either go into them again or play for that loose red. Could be a plant there as well. Played to go into them. And this time it didn't work out as well as he wanted.
32.
Although the red may pass the blue into the baulk corner. Another very good shot.
33.
He looks to be in a mean mood this morning.
Trump said that he thinks Selby's possibly surpassed John Higgins in terms of the best all-round player on the tour. He's world number 1,
37.
and world champion, so you can't really argue with that. Point is, he's got both sides. We've seen the big breaks, we've seen the solid match play. Very few weaknesses.
38.
Although I think sometimes he can go into his shell a bit and go a bit too defensive. But it's all hard work, isn't it? You know, he came from a pretty tough background. It's been well documented. He was only able to play snooker because Malcolm Thorne gave him free practice.
46.
But my word, he's made the most of it.
$51.
Everything falling into place for Mark Selby. He's in a good rhythm. Overdone that one though.
59.
Well, it's incredible because he only needed one more red. So that's a bit of a sickener for Selby.
Well, I was contemplating just swerving round the red, trying to pot the red, but don't think so. Just the safety.
Mark
That would have
Selby.
been a disaster, the kiss
59.
on the red, but look at the safety.
Well, that's also a strength. It's coping when something goes wrong, and he's played a good safety there. You know, he didn't get on frame ball red. Some players would have walked around the table giving it the why me act, but he didn't. He just took a deep breath and tried to get Astley in trouble.
That's better.
Neil Robertson's won the first frame, a lengthy frame, 40 minutes against Anthony Hamilton. We'll see some of that, I'm sure, later on.
That's another good safety from John Astley. May have forced Mark Selby to take the pot on. And plenty of danger with this one. Be pleased to see that red go close to the cushion. Holds his hand up. But has left a red, or he could bring the red off the cushion. Red is on, but again it's a tough one. His problem is if he doesn't play it and plays a safety, he may leave that red. Oh, what a great shot. He looked to see where the cue ball was going to be. If he potted it, hadn't left anything, and he only needs the black to make sure, or the pink.
Yes, he's right on top of his game, Mark Selby. The old cliche, hit the ground running, applies here.
7.
You see your scoreline sometimes, even 3-0, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the play. This hasn't been anything other than 3-0 really, in terms of the pattern of the match. It's dominated the frames. Hasn't potted that one though, so it's 2 snookers.
7.
Well, that's annoying for Selby, because that goes in, it's 3-0 for sure.
Yes, just giving John that little bit of hope. Can afford to take 1 pink and still want 2 snookers.
Must pot it though.
Yep, has to go in.
John Astley 1.
Well, he's going to allow Selby to play out the frame, but it's going to be Selby's frame for sure.
Well, what a nice gesture, because a lot of players would have just said frame.
1.
And Selby just wanting to get on with the next one, not interested in the pink.
1 in the frame. Mark Selby.
Yeah, so another frame that Mark Selby has dominated. His 59 break did the damage, and then that terrific red, frame ball red from distance. And it's one-way traffic at the moment. The world number 1, the world champion Mark Selby, already halfway towards a place in the last 16. He leads here by 3 frames to 0. John Astley getting frame 4 underway. This is the last one before the interval. A frame you could badly do with winning, because he's trailing 3-0. Mark Selby's Played well so far, a century and 2 half centuries. He's been efficient really in all areas of the game. Good value for his lead. Including long potting, and there's another one.
Yep, left that long red sticking out again. But what a great shot. You can't criticise John Astley for leaving that red, because you've no idea how they're going to bust. All you can do is try and get that cue ball close to the cushion, which he did. And he's knocked in another fantastic red.
5. 6. 13.
Well, that could have gone better. Wanted to be straight on this red, which would have led him back to the black. Now has to play a little cannon, and because he was concentrating on the cannon,
Selby.
he's missed the red.
13.
Annoyed with himself. He's given his opponent a chance to get back into this match. If he can score heavy here.
1.
No reason why he shouldn't. He's knocked in 7th century breaks this season. That's pretty good.
Gotcha.
Under pressure though, because he's not made much impact yet in the match. He knows this frame, the last before the interval, is a big one for him as he tries to just take a foothold in the contest.
9. 16. 17.
Has an angle on the black to go into them, and really needs to go into them with a lot of pace. If you can miss the red directly above the black and try and catch the one above that red, you might be able to open them nicely. Well, chose to play for the loose one. May not
24.
have had best angle on the black. Good pot. But again, not the best angle on the black to go into them. Just a couple of inches too hard. Might be able to play it with a lot of topspin and come off the side cushion. Well, no, he hasn't got the angle. So just the pot and run up the table and try and get the cue ball close to the cushion, because when he's played off the reds like this, he's played it too hard. And that, again, is not a good safety.
32.
Leaving the cue ball on the baulk line. Okay, he hasn't left a red on, but he's left an easier safety shot for Selby than it should have been. Got to take extra care with the safety.
Yeah, Selby gets his hand on the table. You know, the cue ball not on the back cushion.
So another chance here. Red to the left corner.
Mark Selby's knocked quite a few long balls in already in this match, but not that one.
Well, again, not a bad safety. He may have forced John into taking this long red onto the right corner. Players don't like to be forced into taking reds on. Not that one, this one. Now, where's it going to finish? Well, hasn't left the red on, but he's left an easy safety shot. Selby coming to look to see where he wants to place that cue ball to put his opponent in maximum trouble. And that is a very good safety shot. That could be trouble for John. You can see reds, lots of them, but no way back to balk, or no easy way back to balk. He could play thin off that red, but that would be such a tough shot. So deciding to take this long red on. Harder, it would have been a good safety. Oh, that's such a tough shot to take on. Big shot. Oh, wow, has he been lucky here? That was very fortunate. Is he taking it on? He has. He's too thin though. Thinking of coming off the cushion, but he could play the red onto the red. Not forced to pot it. Or does this red cut to the middle? Well, again, he's been a little fortunate there. Cue ball finishing close to the yellow.
Well, I think he's been very fortunate, really. Twice. I mean, I know he did leave some sort of pot on last time, but it was tough. He was right up against the red. could certainly have left an easy red on here.
This red is potable, but with the cue ball being close to the yellow, makes it even more difficult. Yeah, that was a tough one. And I don't think John has got away with that one.
No, he's battling the elements, not just a Mark Selby in good form, but a Mark Selby who's had a little bit of run at the right time there, and this is the chance that Selby has been looking for to make it 4-0.
1.
It's like the snooker gods punish you. If you make errors, then when you need a bit of luck, you don't get it. Or certainly, I think you can end up thinking that.
Three. Four.
Far from straightforward this though. Black out of play. Pink not easy.
Green. Seven. Eight. Thirteen.
Yeah, I could have done with being closer to that red. And that would have made position on the blue a little bit easier. Referee Yamahas just making sure he doesn't touch those reds. He's leaning over. Just altered
Mark Selby. 14.
the shot, that stretching over the red and black. So a half chance for John Astley.
Yeah, if he could just get the frame on the board, get to the interval, feel a bit better. Now he's on the scoreboard. Very close to that.
Yeah, looked like he was leaning on it, but the referee was right there. And again, he's been a little unfortunate there with the cue ball finishing tight under the cushion. For a moment, it was on an easy blue to get back down to the reds. And now, no way to get back down to the reds. Two reds by the pink spot. The lower one would go to that left corner. So I may just drop the brown in and play that red, but could equally play a safety shot here.
John Astley 1.
Well, that was the red I was suggesting that
One.
John played. Just drop the brown in. Play that long red. What he shouldn't have done is leave a half chance at that red.
Well, it's some pot though, isn't it, that?
Absolutely, but he had the choice. He had the chance to play it.
Mark Selby 1.
Could have hid that red, and now he's in big trouble. Well, it's a good shot, but has he left it? He has. Fortunately, it's a tough table, even for the world champ.
One.
Good attempt to try and develop the red.
7.
So 2
Mark
points
Selby
in the
7.
frame, 2 reds left. Anthony Hamilton's levelled up with Neil Robertson, slightly slower going on table 2, 1 each there. Yan Bing Tao, well, it was 2-0, it's about to be 2-1 over Sean Murphy. Zhao Yulong, another talented young Chinese player, 2-0 up on Mark Joyce. Oh dear.
Foul. Miss. Mark Selby 4.
Well, that was a thin shot. It was attempting that.
Yeah. Can I have Hawkeye, please?
Yan Bahas requests the Hawkeye technology just to make sure the white is back in the right place. And why not? You know, if you've got the technology, use it. Well, we have got the technology. Unfortunately, it's slightly gone pear-shaped there. We slightly lost the feed. Slight satellite problem. We'll try and get that fixed for you and get back to the action very shortly. We'll just see a few crowd shots before then. A bit frustrating, but here we go.
Well, he'll be happy with that result. That red could so easily have finished over the corner. Caught it too thick. Apologies for the picture loss again.
Hopefully we can cling on until the interval here. That's what John Astley's looking to do.
Not the best angle on the red.
8.
Again, this is tough to get out for the black. Well, this is a natural shot just to drop onto the yellow off the cushion, but it's not an easy pot. Good pot. Nicely played.
16.
Yes, he leads by 10. Yellow, green and brown. And Mark Selby would need a snooker.
$18.
And of course he's best of 11, so there is a bit more room for manoeuvre, even though he's going to have to improve his performance after the interval for sure if he's going to win, but get on the scoreboard first and foremost.
$25.
Well, looks like he's stopped the rot. I'll go to the interval feeling a lot better.
Could just do with dropping this blue in. It's only one snooker at the moment. It's 2 with the blue. Yeah, and it's not in, so it's going to be a bit of carrying on here for sure.
25.
Well, that was careless that of John. Should have made absolutely sure of the blue. I know he tried to because there was no attempt to get to the pink. Well, we could play the double over into the yellow pocket, put distance between them. May have a chance at the snooker, rather than just roll the blue over the pocket. Well, that will suit John, seeing that black go on the cushion. Now he can afford to put that blue right over the pocket. Wasn't far away, but the pink is in a good position for snookers. Good attempt. But if I was John, I'd be pushing that blue right over the pocket. Try and force Mark Selby to pot it because the black is dead on the cushion. Well, if you can't get the snooker, maybe you can try and get the black off the cushion. And this is close. Push it right over the pocket. Try and force Mark Selby to pot it. All in, like that.
Well, he's really had to work hard for his first frame, but he should have it now. Mark Selby started with 103 clearance, a couple of half centuries as well. This frame was rather bitty, to say the least, but Astley doesn't care.
5 and a frame.
Because he's won it. So he's on the scoreboard. He will have to improve, you feel, in all areas if he is to turn this round. Mark Selby's in a strong position as they go to the interval, but at least he's not going to be a whitewash, we can say that much. So 3-1 to Mark Selby, and coverage of the International Championship continues here on Eurosport very shortly. Mark Selby leads John Astley 3-1. It was 3-0. Astley won a very scrappy pre-interval frame to give himself a bit of hope, but Selby overall's been pretty solid and good value for the lead.
Yeah, that's a great shot. He was kind of forced into it. No easy safety shot. But a great red to knock in. Could have done with a little bit more angle on the blue, but may be able to stun run through for the red just above the black. Good shot. One of the few players to be using a maple cue. Most players use an ash cue. John chooses a maple. Looks like the cue ball's going into the reds if he takes that red. He'd like to be able to get this one. Had to play it with a little bit of right hand side on the cue ball, and that killed it a little bit. Again, would have liked to have been straighter on the black.
$14. Yeah.
John Astley, before the Q School, was on the stage at the Crucible in Sheffield. It's worth remembering that is a theatre most of the year. And he was in a play called The Nap, a very funny play which I saw, which was directed by Richard Wilson, the TV actor. And he played a snooker player, not unreasonably. They needed someone to basically make a big break every night on a full-size snooker table. There was a lot of pressure on him doing that because obviously he didn't want to let the play down, but he was making centuries most nights. He'd love one here, wouldn't he?
15.
And I tell you what, all right, the pockets were bigger there, but the table, didn't have the slate bed like Championship table. It had a wooden bed, so it was an alien environment. But he enjoyed himself, I think, being part of that. I tell you, came to see it as well, Angelina Jolie, because she directed Jack O'Connell, the actor who played the main part. So she turned up at the Crucible. I can't promise she's watching right now. You never know.
Awkward bridging. Yeah. It was just too awkward.
John Astley.
Oh, the cue ball stayed out. I thought it was going in, so did John. Well, that's certainly opened things up. Managed to cover the red, that's over that left corner. John has to do the same. This looks good. Excellent safety shot. As he covered the red, that's closest to that left corner. Well, you can't stop anybody potting balls like that. That's a terrific pot again from Mark Selby. John got a great pace on the cue ball, but didn't manage to cover that red over the corner. Another good pot. Playing down for that red, that's closest to the cushion.
5. Six.
And made that one look easy.
Sure.
Now, has he got the right side of the blue?
Eleven. Twelve.
Well, this time he has got the right side of the blue. Red, that's closest to the left corner. Could play on to numerous other reds.
17. Eighteen.
Pink will go to the right middle and the left corner.
23. $24. 30.
Just checking to see if the pink will go, which I'm sure it does.
31.
Another of his great strength is just the sheer concentration he puts into these big matches, working everything out.
$37.
It's a mentally draining sport. It can be physically draining, but certainly can take a mental toll. And that's why you're going to get tournaments where sometimes top players just don't produce it.
$38.
Got to be said, Selby didn't play necessarily his best stuff all the way through the World Championship, but he won so many of those long frames, those real battles that can crush an opponent when you lose them. And again, that takes concentration.
$43. $44.
Tried to bring that red near the cushion into play. The red next to the black. It is potable, and that would really open the game up if he could get on that red. And looks like the red
48.
below the pink is possible also.
$49.
$33 points the
55.
difference. Still needs 2 reds.
$56.
Just overrun a little bit.
So he needs the long
58.
stuff, but if he pots the red, Astley needs a snooker. He's worked these really well so far, just one more ball to go.
And this was a difficult red to get onto. Always has been throughout this frame.
But he pots it.
That should make sure.
Well,
59.
certainly the colour should make sure. I think Astley will play on if Selby doesn't pot the last red, but it's been a good break, this. Two snookers needed.
64.
Otherwise it's 4-1.
64.
And Astley's in a snooker as he comes to the table.
Yeah, a little fortunate.
Well, it's run safe at least. Red runs in behind the black. May just be able to see some of it. Thing about the play, I mentioned the nap that he was in, it had a different ending each time, which the actors would decide on the day, but you can't really do that here. It's all about how you play, how your opponent plays, and the bottom line is Selby is playing the better snooker. As he pots the last red, he's going to be 4-1 in front. There is no script for this particular match. But it's going as expected. Mark Selby was a heavy favourite and he's an even bigger favourite now. He's only 2 frames from victory. John Astley won the 4th frame, the one before the interval. Selby helped by that 64 break, which was very nicely made. Now leads by 4 frames to 1. We're underway in frame 6. Mark Selby 4-1 up on John Astley. Astley breaking off in a frame he needs to win to apply some sort of pressure, but leaving a chance at a long red, although Selby's not knocked it in.
Yeah, he's played good break-offs so far, John Astley, and Mark's knocked one in each time. He's made a bad one there and he's got away with it. Again, too thick on the safety, and this time he hasn't got away with it. Oh, that's a let-off.
Can you stop? Stop. Now.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was slightly put off there. Jan Verhaas having a word with someone in the audience. He didn't get that close in the end to the pot. Whatever it was the audience member was doing, they've been told to stop. Usually taking a picture on a phone and just a bit of movement. Nicely done.
Yeah, good pot.
Eight. Touching ball, John. Nine.
Played it well. Run through of 2 cushions.
16.
Well, it's got to start soon, and really it's got to start here for John Astley. As I say, with the best of 11s, there's a little bit more room for manoeuvre, but still 4-1 is looking a bit grim for him unless he can step it up. Start making the breaks, that's what he needs to do. And show Selby that he's capable of winning the match. The frame he won, the fourth frame, was very scrappy.
Didn't
quite get enough side on the cue ball. Good recovery.
25.
And might just have the angle on the blue to drop down for this red just above the black. If not, then just drop it in dead weight for the red to the middle. Again, played it well, too well. Wrong side of the red. And that could be a good thing, because if you can get top side of the blue next time round, you could go into that pack of reds.
$31. $36. $37.
Well, if he plays for the blue there, he's left himself a tough shot here, and the cue ball's going into the reds. That was a kind of risky shot to play. Didn't get on the blue as he wanted.
And worse still, he got a really good split. He got a really good split, but the blue didn't go in. So he's handed the initiative and possibly the frame to Mark Selby.
Go. Go.
Well, someone's been, I was going to say invited to leave. It wasn't really an invitation, was it, from the referee? Get out.
One.
Well, couldn't have judged that much better.
5.
Close to the middle pocket. But it had to be to get good position. Got a tough red on the cushion behind the black, but the rest are there for the taking. Although, look where he's finished there. couldn't have
13.
legislated for that. Fully expected to be on a red to the right corner. So a real let off that
Selby. 13.
for John Astley.
Yeah, I mean, Selby, he kind of landed there in the one place where he couldn't pot anything. Pretty unforeseeable, really. So Astley relieved to still be in front as he comes back to the table, having missed the blue split in the pack on his last visit. Anthony Hamilton has levelled up at 2-2 with Neil Robertson. That it always looked like that could be quite a lengthy match, and well, it's turning into one. They're just reaching the interval after 2 hours play. Selby caught that a little thick. He does sometimes have matches where he looks like he's going to win easily, and then it becomes a bit of a dogfight, and he'll be hoping this isn't another one.
Long red to the left corner. I've got to play it with a bit of stun to avoid the black. Well, hasn't left anything on for Mark Selby, but he could find himself in trouble, John, next time round. Trying to get that cue ball in behind the blue if you can't pot it. Or the brown. Oh, just a little too heavy. That's a let off. I expected him to get that. So close.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, really. That's gone round the back of the brown. He was willing it not to.
Any kind of kiss.
Well, the snooker gods, they're fickle. We know that much. And Mark Selby made a mistake earlier. Maybe it's his turn to get a bit of a spanking, metaphorically. And it made a big difference because John Astley's not the red in.
What a shot.
One.
What a shot that was. And again, he's a little unfortunate. That cue ball bounces a little more. He's on an easy blue. It's a tricky blue now. He's overcut it. Yep, it was just that little bit tricky. Very unfortunate to have landed where he did.
One.
Mark Selby does win a high percentage of these sort of frames where you sort of can't really remember that much about what's happened in them, but they go on his side of the scoreboard. Certainly did at the Crucible this year. Be the 40th anniversary of the Crucible,
14.
first Crucible Championship, 1977, later this season. A long way to go before then, of course, but that's something special to look forward to.
15.
It's only about 20 tournaments before then.
21. 22.
'Played that well, developing the red.
29.
And this is not looking good now for John Astley.
$30. 37. 38.
Nice angle on the pink to move up for the yellow. Green passes the brown. Oh, he's overscrewed it.
This is what I was saying. You know, sometimes Mark Selby in these matches just goes slightly off the boil. When you compare how he started, he's put himself under pressure now on this yellow. And he's missed it. Got nowhere near it, actually.
It was a tough shot.
44.
And I think the yellow will pass the blue. So what a great chance this is for John.
When you consider where he was on the pink, the fact that he's ended up... I mean, look at that. He's hit the blue pretty much full in the face. He'll be very annoyed. Really will.
Two. 5.
Needs them all. So you would think blue to pink is the key shot to this frame.
9.
And that's not the best position. He would have liked this blue a little bit thinner. He's going to have to play this with a bit of stun now. This could go wrong from this position. And it has.
14.
He's not ideal on the pink. This is a lot tougher to the baulk corner. Yeah, good shot.
It really was. There was so much pressure on that. 4-1 down. With Selby just needing the pink, but Astley just needs the black. for 4-2.
7 and a frame.
And Mark Selby will reflect on the shot he played pink to yellow, left himself on the side cushion, missed the yellow. That was 5-1 all day long. He only needed the green as well. But in fact, Astley wins it on the black and Selby leads 4-2. So Mark Selby leads 4-2, but really it should have been 5-1. He's got to just put that out of his mind, get on with the next frame.
Frame 7.
John Astley, though, was a good pink he potted there. Really was under pressure, added the black to any second frame. Come later on, of course, our second session, Ronnie O'Sullivan up against Kurt Mafflin, and Ding Junhui will play Matthew Stevens. So 2 good matches to look forward to. 12:30 UK time, 1:30 CET.
Well, again, look at where the cue ball is on the safety. And if I was in John Astley's corner, that's what I'd be asking him to practice, the thin safety shots. It certainly cost him 2 frames. It might cost him a 3rd. Played that one well. Can get to the black from this red.
Five. Twelve. Thirteen.
And it's just stuck to the reds.
20.
Could have played for the 2 loose ones, decided to go into them. And it just stuck there. And not easy to get that cue ball down the table. May just have to leave it there.
I was going to say, you know, he was coasting at one point, but now everything's become hard work.
Mark Selby.
It doesn't matter how good your temperament is, this is a test, and even there, he's not got the white dead to the cushion.
Yeah, and if he's left the red onto the middle, or maybe not. But Astley knocked in a good red to that left middle earlier, so not scared of playing the shot. A little unfortunate going into the pack of reds at that pace and seeing the white ball stick. And once again, that cue ball not close enough to the cushion. And if he's left a possible plant on, yeah, it was on.
1.
Couldn't quite hold the cue ball though.
Mark Selby 1.
Safety has definitely let him down today. Again, the cue ball not reaching the baulk line. Makes the safety easier for Selby. Well, that's better. Good cue ball. Oh, great shot. And a good kiss.
1.
Probably deservedly so. He was forced into that. There was no easy safety shot. What a great pot. But a tough table, made a little easier with that last shot.
7. Eight. $14. $15. $21. $22.
$49, the lead, a good lead with red's awkward, black tied up.
28.
Selby looking to make amends for not clinching the last frame.
$29. $35. $36.
Yeah, just a little awkward now, especially if it's straight on the pink. Needs one more red after the pink.
$42.
Yes, he needs to put everything into the pot, really. In it goes. 2 snookers needed. That's without the pink, but he's nicely on it. So it looks like 5-2. John Astley won that previous frame on the black, but Selby, as he does, has just got on with the job in the next one.
Yeah, kind of like fights harder because he lost that last one. He did let it affect him, but in a positive way.
$50.
And this wasn't an easy break. Boards were awkward, but straight away he decided to open the reds up.
56.
Worked out.
$57.
Nice double.
Oh, what a shot.
Enjoying himself now, isn't he? Everything's going in.
What a great shot that
63.
was.
So the break ends at 63. He's done well there. It wasn't the greatest position to be in when he came to the table. Mark Selby then, he's now 1 frame away from victory, leading by 5 frames to 2. John Astley quite clearly with it all to do. Selby a big favourite to book his place in the next round here at the International Championship in Daqing. Long way back for John Astley, 5-2 down to the world champion Mark Selby, who needs 1 more for victory.
And again, not a good break off. He got away with it the last time. He may be thinking every time I break off good, leave the cue ball tight to the cushion, he knocks one in. But that poor break off, well, could be his last shot. Mark Selby trying to ensure that it will be by going into the reds, and he's on one.
6.
If he's on the one just above the black, that could be trouble for John Astley.
Seven. $14.
Well, he started with a century in frame 1, and the potential for a big break here. If he does come through, he plays Liang Wenbo or Li Hang. They play later on. Liang's had a couple of deciders last couple of days off the back of his English Open win, but won them both.
15.
Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't still be here.
$20. $21. $28. $29.
Well, an unexpected miss there,
29.
and been very fortunate not to have left a red on. It was the shot previous that he left the black a little straighter than he wanted. So nothing easy for John Astley, and doesn't want to be taking too much of a risk. the best safety this time from Selby, but nothing easy left for John Astley. Looking at this long straight red, but that's so risky when you're just one frame from defeat. That's not all the eggs in one basket, that's the bacon as well, isn't it? He'd be almost certainly out of the tournament if he took this on and missed it, but he's looking at it. Well, that one was just as bad. That was down the cushion, and that could be very, very expensive. I thought he was playing safe off that red. And brave shot to take on, but now he's in Selby's hands.
One.
It's not through yet, but if he does win, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for Selby, but he's not the sort of player to get too down on himself and dwell too much, I don't think, on the mistakes. If he's through, he's through, and he can come back tomorrow for the last 16. Just been towards the end, just the odd unexpected mistake like the black he missed in this frame.
Seven.
Oh, how has he missed that lot?
14.
How has he found the gap?
$15.
But back in prime position. 44 points the lead.
$22. $23. $30. $31.
Well, he's left this awkward.
Yeah, and he needs one more red. Okay, Astley can tie if he pots the black.
Again, though, it's just something that just unexpectedly has gone wrong. It's like he's sort of just stumbling a bit as the winning line approaches. If he pots the black, he's 67 up with 67 on, but awkward queuing.
Good pot. That eases the pressure. Knowing you can't lose the frame in one visit. Could take the red onto the middle or the corner. Or could just play the safety. Took it to the middle, and what a good pot to finish with.
39.
Yeah, superb. Had to take the pot on because it was a chance to kill the match off, but it wasn't easy. But he's knocked it in, and Mark Selby, well, he's tough. That's the bottom line. He's really tough, and he's toughed it through again. at times he played really well. First frame cleared up with 103. He's had
43.
a few of the half centuries as well, but other times he's battled the elements a bit. Things have gone wrong. He's
44.
made mistakes, but overall he'll be happy enough to come through 6-2 and come back tomorrow to take on either Liang Wenbo or Li Hang in the last 16. Point is, you've got to beat Mark Selby. He's not going to lie
51.
down, even if at times things aren't going well for him. He'll still fight and fight and fight some more.
$52.
Well, very thin black if he is to potentially make the century. Well, he's knocked it in.
59.
Yeah, and they're still going in.
60.
And looking to make another century.
$67.
Could take a blue.
$68.
Mark Selby 5th on the all-time list of centurions with 430. Well, John Astley, he
75.
won what was potentially an important 6th frame on the black, but hasn't had much of a look in since, really.
Mark Selby, 75.
So Mark Selby with that 75 has put
How about
himself
John?
into the last 16 of this international championship. Overall, I think he'll be satisfied enough with his performance and certainly killing it off, having lost that 6th frame on the black, pulled away to kill it off and put himself through to fight another day. So Mark Selby the winner here by 6 frames to 2.